Hey everybody, oops. It is Darren from Lilley's Landing. Today is Sunday, June 16th, Father's Day. I'm gonna do the OneCast for you today. So they just turned on generators. I think it's 2. I can't remember from when I looked at the schedule earlier. But water's moving. So this is the bluff right across from the resort, just the top end of it. This is that first dock that's right there as you're going upstream. I'm gonna throw a streamer on some 150 grain sink tip on an 8-weight. But I think my line's messed up there. If the spot lock doesn't dump me in. All right. Once I get situated, I'll take it off spot lock and drift here. See if the deck's too hot. Nope, it is not. All right. Here we go. Oh, that cast wasn't far enough. That doesn't count. That is my first cast. All right. That one will have to count. Even though it only went 5 feet. There we go. So the wind's blowing pretty good. It's pushing me into the bank here. Downstream and into it. If I need to strip faster, we'll just see what happens here. Oh, that was a good cast. Couldn't do that better if I tried. The location of that cast was good. So the way I fish streamers, as far as boat positioning and all that, I want the boat just to be a hair slower than the current because I want my fly to swing just a little bit. So there's a big shelf over there. Let this sink a minute. And I have that gray one on so I can see it in the water, see how deep it's going. If I remember right, the last time I used this, it's been a while. They chased it pretty good. Put it in a tree. So I love Redington rods. They're amazing. The price is great. They're similar to TFOs. Price is great. They got lifetime warranties. They're great. So I have a Redington Path 8-weight that I normally use, and it's great. It works good. This is my Sage, though, and the big difference, and I guess the action on this is a little bit different. It's still an 8-weight, same weight rod. As far as like your medium, heavy, light, ultralight, that kind of thing is what the 8-weight or 5-weight means on fly rods. But the actual physical weight, so how much it weighs in your hand, when you go from a lesser expensive rod to a more expensive rod, that's where you typically, for me anyway, see the big difference. This rod weighs nothing. This weighs lighter than my 5-weight my 5-weight Redington. And of course there are, components are different, the eyes are different, the reel seat's different. The cork might be a little bit better quality cork. But the big difference that you typically can feel right off the bat is the weight. The actual physical weight, not the line weight, but the actual physical weight of the rod. Get that question a lot in the office, like what's the difference between a $100 rod and a $400 rod? It's typically what I tell them. The initial thing you can notice is the actual physical weight of the rod, and it does make a difference. No chasers or anything yet. All it takes is one. So I'm casting this, so that sink tip's 24 foot. I got like 8 foot a leader, so say we're at 32. And I probably cast that 15 feet to 42, 47 feet. And I'm casting this, that's how far away from I am the bank, because that cast was like right on the bank. That's how far away from I am. I'm trying to keep myself from the bank. I don't want to be so close that when I'm drifting down through there, I'm spooking the fish away. But at the same time, I got to be within casting distance. Reasonable casting distance, so I don't completely wear myself out quick. Probably should have made a black one of these. I don't think I have a black one. Black jigs have been working great for probably a month now. Oops. There we go. So I probably should have made a black one of these, but I didn't. But we do have some black. It's called the Boogeyman. I think we have them left in the office there. The Boogeyman's probably my favorite big streamer to fly, or to use. Streamer to fly. Big streamer to use. It works well. It has a, I think the key why I like it so much is the way it falls. Like if you just dead stick it and let it fall. It has mallard flank on the top this way, not as like a side, but as a top. And that makes it like flutter as it's going down. I think that flutter entices him pretty good. No. I hit another tree. I hit way up in a tree that time. My loop was too open. Starting to get a little close here. get myself back out away from the bank a little bit. I like staying farther off the bank than other people do. Deck's getting hot on my left foot there. The last few times I went with Phil, he likes being real close, which works. It works great for him. Not saying it doesn't, not saying it's a bad thing to do or staying away too far is a bad thing to do. Just, you got to find that right distance for yourself. Me, it's farther out than Phil likes to be. There we go. See, now I might be too far. Yep. But anyway, I hadn't noticed that until the last time I think we did one cast cicada fishing. And I got to thinking, when we were crappie fishing one day, he was right on top of them. We were catching them. We caught a ton of them. Seam right there. I might be close enough. There's a little stick out in the seam behind it. Don't think I got it in it though. I tried to let it sink kind of down to it and let the water push it in there, but don't think I was close enough. There we go. I'm in it now. That seam has come out and spread out a little bit, so. Which that seems like that is where they were eating, for me anyway, that's where they were eating cicadas. I was getting them out off the bank probably 10 feet or just following those seams. Phil was getting them right on the bank is where he was getting bit a lot of the time. At least that day him and I went. Oops. There we go. Strip it through that seam. Come on, there's got to be a fish in there. One dumb one. See if I can shoot it in there. There's a tree hanging over. I don't know if you can see it on camera. There's a stump and a tree hanging over. I was trying to get it close to that stump, but it's just a little farther away than I cast. Pick your shots when you're doing this too. It's not just blind casting. Some of it is, but every time I'm casting, I'm looking at a spot and trying to hit a certain spot. Not just throwing it out there. Sometimes your spot is getting it between branches. tree above me now. I'm just gonna wait. Caught my sandal. Ah, that was fish and I missed him. He hit it on strip. I don't think it was a big one, it was a little guy. He just swiped at it, which is typically what they do. I don't think it was a brown. If it was really dark. It just looked like a black fish. I think it was a little rainbow. Oh, fish just came up and ate something off the surface right there. It's the first one I've seen. So my fly is only like 2 feet under, 3 feet under. I have a 150 grain sink tip. When the floodgates were on, oh, my foot's hurting from standing on it. Floodgates are on. I went with Phil. He threw a that topwater shad, and I threw it was a white boogeyman. I had a 300. I think it's 300 or 350 grain, so it's twice as heavy. We also had floodgates on, and I was just letting it swing behind the boat, and I kept getting bit on that. That's when I foul hooked one, and then had one on for a minute. I missed a bunch of them, but there was shad coming through. I was throwing white. Different conditions for sure. I wish they streamers here really well, but it's really what I like doing. They just tend not to. I did bring a 5-weight with, it's got midge tip on it. So like there's 3 feet of it. That sinks, I think, at an inch a second. Oops. This has 24 foot of sink tip, 150 grain, which I'm not 100% sure on the inches per second, but I think it's more like 4 or 3. If you just let it sit. If you're stripping it, it's not going to sink that fast. But that midge tip, it's called midge tip because it's used for primarily fishing midges, soft hackles, that kind of thing. Soft tackle is a midge. I put it way up in the tree, trying to avoid it. And it's good for fishing soft tackle. It's just under the surface film. Had a chaser there, but almost put that in a tree too. I'm pretty much straight across from the resort now. I might switch to that midge tip. I got a little chaser. He's right there swimming around looking for it. Come on. Let's see if we can shoot that in there. Nope. So it'll come back and hit me. I tried to shoot it under a tree. Oh, I do have it. Sweet. Thought I broke it. Another seam right there with trees overhanging them. I got scared. Try it again. Made it in the seam that time. I said in the foam because there's some foam up there. One more cast with this, and I'm gonna move that. Oh, another little guy. So he was underneath of it a couple feet, and I couldn't see him until right up here. He was there though. Cellar streamer, I'll show it to you here when I get this in. So the way this fly is set up, I got a cone, just a shank, not a hook, just a shank, and then a wire back to a stinger hook. So it's more like a spay fly, kinda. So this is my 5-weight, and I got midge tip on it, but I got this little guy. It's about a quarter of the length. This stuff's about a quarter of the length of that whole fly, but I still got a stinger hook. I tied a jig with this stuff for Paul one day, and he used it off the dock. And first cast, he caught a pretty good fish with the same material. I've just put it on a jig head instead of on a fly. Actually sinks pretty good. Yeah, I mean, they're gonna have to be right at the surface. I think if the water was off up there at the dam, this would be good. But the water's gonna have to be off. It's not far under the surface at all. Oh, come on. Or I need to fish it on heavier line. And if I get that one random fish that decides to eat this, that would be sweet. This is my first time using this line. It doesn't sink as much as I thought it would, but it does. It's literally just under the surface is all it does. kind of like a hover. Got something on there. Don't know what that is. It's like a junction in the middle of it. Casts really good. Oh, the sun is killing me. The sun's right. There we go. This I can cast a little bit easier up underneath stuff. And I am closer now because I'm wanting to cast this up closer to the bank. I don't know if you can hear that going through the guides, but there's a little junction in the line. I don't know why. There's a junction in the line right here. I don't know if that's just when they were making the line, that was the end of the, like this was the end of that spool or something. I don't know. I don't know how that works. I'm gonna throw one more cast. I think this would be fun when the water's off. I think this would work well. All right, well, thanks for watching, everybody. It's starting to get hot. I'm not a hot kind of guy, so I'm going back to the office where it's nice and air conditioned. Here's what that fly looks like. It's kind of cool. Has that gold. Forgot to put gold around it. I think it's, or copper. I think it's just copper flash. But anyway.